Jordan, slow down. You're going too fast. So we started Lent here in America about 2 weeks ago, and last week I meant to get to this, and then the week before that, I meant to get to it and never really got around to doing it. So I apologize, I'm a little bit late, in talking about Lent, but here it goes, like I said, it usually means 40 days of fasting, of giving something up, for 40 days, preparing your heart and mind, for the coming of Christ. Now, this is mainly the Catholic tradition, although some Protestant churches do it. I grew up in the Methodist church, and, there were a few people in the congregation who did it, and, I always tried to give something up. I'll circle back around that on later, but, one of my favorite stories, well, not favorite, but one of the funny stories I heard is, one of my friends gave up TV for 40 days. They weren't going to watch any TV. So they started on Ash Wednesday, and that Saturday, they won a TV. A good TV, a big, nice big screen. I can see the irony and the humor in that. And, it was a challenge for them, but they got through the 40 days. And traditionally it's been going without food for 40 days. Or at least giving some food up for 40 days. I think tradition was fasting, during the day. Then I got changed, okay, well, give up meat, for those 40 days. Okay, well, give up meat only on Fridays. Okay, you can have meat on Fridays and, fish. You see, if you're going to fast, I think it should be something important. You should give up something important to you. Like, I would not be able to, for me, a fast of pina coladas would not be meaningful. Because I don't drink pina coladas. They're a bit too fruity, if you will. If I were to fast, wearing purple, well, I don't wear purple. So, again, it wouldn't be that meaningful of a fast. And another thing, kind of along the same lines is, you can't say, well, I'm going to fast going to McDonald's and go to Burger King or Hardee's. And I think that kind of, rips the point apart. I think it kind of makes its fast a little bit, cheapen. And I don't know if anybody out there is watching this, who is in the middle of a fast or in the middle of Lent, but something we don't think about, we really do talk about too much in the Christian faith is, what does it look like to fast, What does it look like to sacrifice something, for the glory of God, or to surrender it and say, God, you're more important than the food I take, or you're more important than this, or God, you're more important than my smoking. So I'm going to, surrender that and, fast that. And it usually goes hand in hand with prayer, so if you're giving up a meal, if you're fasting, for a meal or whatnot, spend that time, in your fast, praying and simply talking to God. And I know fasting can be difficult because as soon as, you say, okay, God, I'm going to, give this up. I'm going to, fast. I'm going to skip, I'm not going to eat dinner anymore. There's always something like this. And like I said earlier about the reference to, to my friend who gave up watching TV and won one, there's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be difficult because, fasting is not easy. But it can be life-changing, as well. It can deepen your relationship with God, and I think that's why it's not easy. Now, I said I'd circle back around to something, About 2 years ago, when I was talking about the tradition earlier of not eating meat for those 40 days. And like, I think I'm going to connect with that tradition. Not that I'm Catholic, but like I said, I have tried to give something up. So for 40 days, I did not eat meat. Except for fish, You see, that process changes you. The process of fasting changes you. And I started feeling better, like mentally, emotionally, physically. And I started liking that change in me. So I'm like, after 40 days are done, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it. I am going to keep the faith. And aside from the occasional, like fish, I've done that. For the past 2 years, I've been a vegetarian. Like I said, it changes you. And I think that's the point behind fasting is not that it changes God or His mind about stuff, but it changes you. It helps you become more Christ-like. Now, I'm not saying being a vegetarian is more Christ-like, Don't get me wrong on that. But giving of yourself or discerning the aspect of yourself that might be keeping you from God, from really drawing in and seeking Him, or even if it's not that big of an issue, even if it's just something, maybe it's not even a stumbling block, but just taking the time to actively and passionately seek God changes you. It draws you closer to Him, for the better. And I would like to conclude this with a special shout out to Jordan, who allowed me to shoot that video earlier in her car. Anyway, just some random thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll try, I promise, I will try to get better about getting these up more regularly. Goodbye, and God bless.